Lorraine Pena's crossing path with LAPD. She's engaged in group stalking right in plain sight, and the fake sun's over my apartment, not over Arco, not over Glendale Boulevard, seen through my sun shield, through my window. Not my windshield, the window on top of my vehicle, sunroof. That's called crossing path. They're also group stalking with LAPD. LAPD is sounding helicopter activity. That's audible activity creation while they're engaging in group stalking. And you saw the engineer light that appeared and disappeared on my wall, bedroom wall right here. That's also what you know that's also how you know what Lorena Pena is, what her condition is, and also the malice with which she engages in that criminal activity with the state that's crossing path and helicopter. And you also know that about everybody else that's in the neighborhood, engaged in any movement, any presence that you see. It also exists inside of the venues that surround. It is currently 3:24 p.m. and the light source is directly over my apartment. You can see dynamic light right here at the windowsill, which is speaking to the light source presence also. And there's no sun, as you can see, at any distance anywhere near off of Glendale Boulevard. There's no sun over there. It's right here above me while I'm inside of the apartment. You can see it through the windshield of Vanessa Dreese's vehicle. The front windshield, not like the back windshield, as though the sun is behind that vehicle in a location over any of those skyscraper buildings, or Glendale Boulevard, which is down yonder where I'm currently remaining, going to Vaughn's, and the fake sun is over Vaughn's while I'm at Vaughn's. It moves away from Vaughn's while I drive away from Vaughn's. It's over McDonald's while I'm driving by McDonald's. It moves away from McDonald's as I drive away from McDonald's on Glendale Boulevard. Here over my apartment while LAPD is again at 3:25 p.m. amplifying helicopter activity and exhibiting demon possession, while that which is not the sun is directly over my apartment, which is what you can see the little lights, the little patch of white light right above the tree. The fake sun doesn't go anywhere. So you're talking about, remember, this is the light source. Let's put the window. Say the window is me. The fake sun is rising on this side, keep remaining over me all day long, and setting on the opposite side. This is the setting side of the fake sun. And this is totally outside of what could ever be regarding the light source if it was the sun over Chase Bank at 1600 Vermont Avenue, as I documented and showed you up close screenshots so you can see what's impossible. It's remaining over my head at my front door, while at the same time yesterday I'm driving off of Normandy, off of Hollywood Boulevard, off of Vermont. The same demons are stalking in helicopter, and you're looking at vehicles and traffic. They're doing what the demon that is Lorraine Pena is doing. They're crossing path. They're engaged in demonic pacing and maintaining an ongoing soundtrack. All right, like animals, stalking amongst what is engineered light that appearing and disappear like demons do, okay? But this criminal conduct is animalistic, like animals. I'm going to keep that same narrative. This is criminal, very highly criminal, and it's also going to be prosecuted as what it is. It's a sex offense, all right? And they're doing it in an engineered environment amongst what is impossible light activity. And this is speaking to what is absolute criminal conduct with the intentional aspect of it, while you have that unnatural environment in sync with those who are literally a threat to the public while they're group stalking in helicopters. Okay, that I believe Isela, the light source is seen through the rear windshield. She's going to be removed from the minor children that she's currently in custody of, engaging in what is 24-hour surveillance, group stalking, and doing so with impunity, as she is fully aware. Also been documented. Unapologetic terrorists are those who are a threat to the safety of American citizens, and they're going to be placed in the cages where they belong. And that's what Isela represents. And she is in apartment 1812 number, I believe, apartment number 1812, number 3. If I recollect correctly, stalking, coming onto the grounds of the property. The light source, which is not the sun, is seen through the rear windshield. So that's speaking to the fact that there's no sun that will be on the opposite side of this property along what is Vaughn's on Alvarado Street. And I went to the crossing path with the not only the Vaughn's grocery store, but I went to driving down Glendale Boulevard and then coming toward the property in this direction. If the sun was in any location, first of all, there's none of this. This is the illusion. It's not even sunlight, but you're using the illusion of the demon-possessed population against them. The illusion of the fake sun, which is the sun, and then the engineered light, which is supposed to be sunlight. Okay, so you're speaking to and recognizing and prosecuting for the malice with which Isela is engaged in group stalking with minor children, and doing so while the light source is seen through the rear windshield of the vehicle that she is driving on on the property of Alvarado Gardens where I've been here, and you're looking at it through the windshields of the vehicles on the same property. Remember, this morning you can see it through the windshields of vehicles parked in parking stalls number 15 and 14, and that was at 7 in the morning. It's 3:28 in the afternoon, and then as I just captured in images as I stepped out, because the fake sun is engaged in an ongoing, gradual, remaining, negligible movement. It's not moving anywhere when I step outside of the apartment, and at 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, and it's still over the same apartment building. That's not movement. So the entity is engaging in what is maintaining presence over my apartment building, and maintaining it until the 3 o'clock hour, which is when it will start to stay and remain at this side of the apartment building. That's all that the entity is doing, and it's entirely demonic, and it is speaking to what is no sun over Arco. There is no sun over the Vons, like I documented while I'm at those facilitating venues where the entity is group stalking. Okay, as an entity and in sync with the demons that are engaging in relevant positioning. This is terrorism by the state. And the leader of that terrorist organization, LAPD, Dominic Choi, is worth imprisonment based on the terrorism that he's engaging in. And in the U.S., you're not different from, I'm actually being frank and accurate with regard to the terrorism that Dominic Choi, the state of California, Dominic Choi and the Los Angeles Police Department, who are acting in conformity to a well-documented pattern of conduct and exhibiting their demon possession, which is also known while they engage in stalking in a demonic environment, while they are also engaging in federal stalking. So this is a terrorist that is unapologetic, that is unfit to be a chief of police, and is not different or distinct from engaging in terrorism in the U.S. from a terrorist widely known, Osama bin Laden, who, again, if alive, you would put that person in federal prison. That's where Dominic Choi belongs. I'm exposing his criminal activity. I'm exposing what is his leadership, corrupt leadership, which is literally precipitating, resulting in this sort of criminal conduct. That's how it exists. This is how you have a statewide pattern of conduct. You have a totality of 7 law enforcement agencies engaging in an identical pattern of conduct. These terrorists, because that's what Dominic Choi is, and his corrupt leadership is happening on his watch. And any any terrorist leader belongs in federal prison. So what I'm speaking to, what I'm advocating, what I'm exposing, prosecuting, all at the same time. I am also going to articulate what also reasonably follows. It's not just removal. You are qualified. You're disqualified from law enforcement, and you belong in federal prison. And that's exactly what the criminal activity of the Los Angeles Police Department is demonstrating. All right. And so I'm just speaking to what they are holding hands with American citizens, engaging in criminal conduct with them. They're engaging in criminal activity together, crossing path and crossing path under what is a fake sun that is not over Arco. Okay, there's nowhere, let me be clear. Dominic Choi is speaking to, he's begging for federal prison while they just engaged in that criminal activity. It's not a coincidence while I'm capturing video right now. That is the same incriminating conduct they engage in, flying in circles over Chase Bank, where there is no sun. There was no sun over Chase Bank. Dominic Choi belongs in federal prison, and this is the documentation, the evidence of state terrorism. Being the domestic enemy, being the terrorist in the United States, necessarily results in the leader of such terrorist organizations to go to federal prison. Okay, and engaging in openly terrorizing an American citizen, knowing while you're engaged in federal stalking, and the evidence of the unnatural environment is also speaking to knowledge while you are under no circumstances coincidentally engaging in that criminal conduct in front of the whole world. This level of terrorism, which is again making literally, it's making a mockery of the United States. So you have what is a terrorist organization that would like to masquerade as a law enforcement agency, and they are literally making a masquerade of the laws that govern while they're engaging in criminal activity. And the leader of such terrorist organizations, Dominic Choi, he's being exposed, and this is speaking to what he is worthy of and where he belongs. He belongs in a cage. The same demons that are pacing around with engineer light, that's what's flying helicopters. That's what's the chief of police. All of that psychotic, behavioral pattern, that psychotic criminal purpose, that obsessive, you sit around in a helicopter and you provide the evidence against the chief of police, that demon and the chief of police of that department belong in federal prison, period. and the demon driving out of Silverview Townhomes, and the demon driving up Alvarado Street, and the demon flying over the property under what is a fake sun, they are together providing the support for exactly what I have articulated. The demilitarization of these corrupt terrorist organizations in the state of California. All right, you're talking about what is the removal of the chief of police and federal prison for the chief of police for the criminal conduct. It's not just a civil matter. This is criminal activity, and it's of the highest. It's terrorism by the state, and the state engages in it on camera. This is worthy of federal prison of Dominic Choi. That's absolutely worthy of federal prison. And like I stated, the impunity that Silverview Townhomes, that whole property is going to be prosecuted. They're engaged in terrorism. They're engaging in a sex offense. This is impossible light. Remember, right now at 3:34 p.m., I am not even at this property yet. I'm capturing the light source while I am driving in this direction, coming from Vaughn's, Glendale Boulevard, and there is no sun over Alvarado Gardens. Remember the evidence that's already present while the entity is engaging in this conduct, and that's what Isela and Roberto Aguilera are engaging in while they're group stalking with minor children who they're going to be separated from. They are the likes of the terrorists that are engaging in terrorism with Dominic Choi and the demon-possessed entity that represents the state, flying in circles, engaging in terrorism for over every business establishment that I go to, including your neighborhood Walmart. Walmart is a terrorist. Walmart is a group stalker. And they're flying over my apartment. They're flying over the bank where I am a consumer, not only engaged in federal stalking. Everybody that was at work at Chase Bank is subject to federal prison. And they're flying over the apartment in a relevant position in an unnatural environment. They're witnessing their exposure, and while I'm giving the oral argument for articulating why Dominic Choi, not just the LAPD, but Dominic Choi belongs in federal prison and you're disbanding, literally group stalking on video. That's speaking to exactly what Dominic Choi wants. He's begging for federal prison. That's literally what that's suggesting right there, what that is supporting. And I say, as a matter of justice, with regard to the measure of the criminal activity that a terrorist organization that wants to masquerade as a law enforcement agency is engaging in, it is absolutely necessary with regard to prosecuting and deterring such law enforcement agencies that are actually terrorist organizations in the state of California engaging in terrorism. If you want to engage in terrorism, which is what a law enforcement agency that's engaging in terrorism is practicing, terrorizing American citizens, the chief of police known to go to federal prison, these agencies will think twice. Okay, that's another measure with regard to punishment. And I'm also showing you how the public safety concern is very real, because that is not in any way deterring these demons who flew right on video in the specific environment. Okay, and there's no question regarding to the stalking system. So now you're talking about, oh, you hear the chief of police is going to go to federal prison. Let me engage in more terrorism on video. Such animals belong in cages, and that's exactly what they're begging for. It is currently 3:36 p.m. And so, like I said, at this time, I am sitting off in my vehicle facing the property. And you're looking at the absence of any sun. It's seen through the driver's side of my vehicle while I am driving up this street coming toward Alvarado Gardens, and yet you've seen it remaining here, not moving, which is what I've consistently captured as I'm juxtaposing the light source, the fake sun, over the top of my head while I'm outside of my front door, while I am at the same time driving toward Chase Bank, at Chase Bank, leaving Chase Bank, going to the gas station, going to the grocery store, and that which is not the sun is remaining stationary today, remaining over my sunroof for the duration of my travels. And then don't forget the fact that on this day in 2022, I'm at the Paul Bunyan Library, where I'm capturing upon my arrival and upon my exit after 5 p.m. And there's no sun that's going to be remaining in perfect alignment with me, as you know. And there's also no sun that's in any direction other than being directly over the top of my head, contrary to what I'm documenting at the same exact time yesterday, when it is outside of the driver's side of my vehicle, when I'm driving toward Alvarado Gardens, looking at the property, and there is no sun over this property. And that's contrary to what you're looking at right now. Okay, so I just want to be clear. The chief of police of the Glendale Police Department, engaging in the identical pattern of conduct. The chief of police of the Fontana Police, the Ontario Police Department, Robert Luna over the Sheriff's Department. You're talking about removal of the leaders, the corrupt leaders, and they're exhibiting their hostility to the enforcement of your constitutional rights, the ongoing endeavor to threaten your life and your safety. And they respond with more terrorism. Yes, you punish such public corruption. You punish such lawlessness, which is occurring on the watch of these terrorists. Not different from Osama bin Laden. You put them in federal prison. Okay, it is currently, again, let me show you this light source that's directly over my apartment. This is the engineer light that's on my windowsill, and it's also appearing on the ground, lining the floor. And you don't forget what the entity is doing when it's appearing and disappearing on the ceiling. Never is that sunlight. And the entity is engaging in this conduct, as I showed you, it's appearing on the bedroom wall and then it's disappearing. And you can remember the fact that at the same time it's appearing on the wall, the fake sun is over me at Arco at the same time. This is the entity that is engaging in what is demonic activity. Demons, psychopaths such as Dominic Choi, and the people that are flying these helicopters, group stalking, engaging in terrorism, which they like to engage in on video, showing the rest of the world how terrorism is going to be punished in the United States. And that's why Dominic Choi belongs in federal prison. It is currently 3:38 p.m. This is P.O.C.